Welcome to the Pizza Marketplace podcast. I'm your host, Mandy Detwiler, editor of Pizza Marketplace, and I'm here today with Mike Burns, CEO of DC-based And Pizza. Mike, great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Mandy. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, let's talk about your origin story. Tell me a little bit about And Pizza and the background, and then how you got involved with the brand.
Yeah, the brand was founded in 2012 by Michael Astoria, who's still involved with the brand. Michael calls himself Pizza Jesus. Michael, had some other business opportunities that allowed him the opportunity to open a pizza shop in DC. So he kind of traveled the country and figured out, DC was an open blank slate, empty canvas for pizza. Really, there wasn't really a staple pizza here in DC. So he really built one shop thinking it was going to be one shop. Like there was really no big plans for And Pizza to take off. And the first one exploded on 8th Street here in DC. And then, the second one, third one, fourth one also exploded. And then he was like, you know what, we might have something here. So the brand started to rapidly grow. Obviously, people were interested from an outside investment standpoint. And then the brand got to 25, 30 shops. And then, they decided going into COVID, Michael wanted to move back to New York. They put a different kind of leadership group in charge. And then And Pizza got too corporate. It got really corporate for a while. The whole thing with And Pizza was that it was edgy, different, unique, loud music. Employees could be who they wanted to be. Customers felt like they could be who they wanted to be as well. And the culture kind of changed in 2018 when Michael kind of stepped away. And then COVID hit in 2020. Michael came back in, did everything he could do to resuscitate the brand, but it was COVID, right? Everybody kind of struggled. And Michael started to decide, like, I really want to be the creator, founder, and brainchild behind And Pizza, but I don't want to run it on a day-to-day basis. So they opened up a search. Michael led that search, and Michael called me up, and here we are. I mean, I joined about a year and a half ago now, and it's been everything I thought it would be. It's a really fun brand, and we're just trying to bring it back to its roots of this fun, urban-centric college campus brand that it was when it started.
Sure. Now, you guys have started franchising, is that right?
Mm-hmm. It is. That's correct. We started about 2 months ago.
The press release that I got emphasized aggressive growth. What makes now the right time for And Pizza to pursue this strategy?
So, And for a long time wanted to just stay corporate. They felt like they could grow faster. They could control the brand. We are unique. We're different than kind of any of your other mom and pop pizza shop. So to kind of have your fingerprints all over it, that was the strategy at the time. To me, I think this thing should have franchised 6 or 7 years ago when it was at its peak. I mean, it's such a cool, fun brand. Everybody loves it. There's a need for it in the market. There's potential franchisees been reaching out for years to want to franchise this brand. And to me, to be at 45 restaurants or 46 with a couple airport units is a shame. Like this thing should be 300, 400, 500 units by now, and it's not. So when I came in, really wanted to level set the brand, going back to its roots, bringing back the culture that made And Pizza what it was, and then level set operations. Coming out of COVID, a lot of restaurant brands, especially in the fast casual space, struggled. And we needed to fix our ops. We had to fix our four-wall. We had to build a prototype. We had to get a prototype designed that we could replicate across the country. We had to get our supply chain in order. And we've done all that now. And now we feel like it's an opportunity where we can jump off, now that we've stabilized, to get this thing to 200, 300 stores, 250 to 300 restaurants by 2030 is the goal. And we feel like we've got a good baseline now to do that. But we had to get our house in order first, Mandy. We couldn't we had to fix our house before we threw a party.
Do you worry about growing too big, too fast, and losing that culture that you've built?
Not really. I mean, it's always a concern, right? It's kind of when you let your kids go to college, like you know what they're going to do, but you have to trust that you've raised them right, and we feel like we've built the brand right. It's a very simple brand. The color scheme is very basic. It's black and white with a splash of color, depending on what market you're in. Ops is very simple. It's streamlined. We feel like it's pretty turnkey. We'd like to have a restaurant operator, but if you've been successful in it, whether it's in retail, or we've had some people reach out to us that are executives in other businesses that just kind of want to retire and set something up for their kids. It's simple enough to do. We also feel like this should be everywhere, but we're also being very selective on who we choose, right? We do things a little bit different than other places. It's not like, hey, you can fog a mirror, you can be a franchisee. Like we're very deliberate in who we're choosing, not just from a financial standpoint, but from a cultural standpoint. We have them come in, we have them meet the team, we have them tour the shops, we have them go through all our social media accounts that we've, over the years to make sure it's something they're comfortable with. So it's a two-way street. We're interviewing them, they're interviewing us, and it's got to be a right fit.
Now, you guys are actively seeking partners to acquire existing restaurants in East Coast markets. Is that correct?
Sort of, yeah. So what we're trying to do, there's some shops outside of, we want to keep the DC core, Like we're based here, operations, I'm here, training's here. So we have our hands wrapped around these markets. Now there's other outlying markets like a Richmond, a Baltimore, a Philly, which are kind of DC adjacent, that we feel like we should have more restaurants in those markets. Like we only have 5 in Baltimore, we should probably have 10. We've got 3 in Philly, we should probably have 10. So to find somebody that wants to develop those markets, we would look at a strategic partnership to say, hey, buy the 3 Philadelphia restaurants. We'll give you a great deal on them, but we want you to build 5 or 6 more to grow that market. They get their fingerprints on it, and they get some cash flow in the door immediately. They get to learn the brand inside and out while they're looking for their first site. So we figure when they open their first restaurant, they'll know the brand. They'll be trained on the brand. They've got some money coming in the door already. So, I mean, the main goal is for franchisees to make money, not just to grow. Like we'll grow faster if they're making the most money possible. If we're just trying to put, flags in the ground all over the country and they're open for a year or two and close, like that doesn't do anybody any good. So we're trying to make sure that we find the right people to seed these markets. And if they can seed them with some existing restaurants, that's great.
Now, you guys are exploring partnerships to develop markets outside of the East Coast. What kind of opportunities and hurdles do you think you might face in new territories?
We're going to be very strategic about the markets that we go into. Like I can't foresee us going into Chicago, right? I mean, it's a very heavy pizza city. San Francisco, Boston, like all the same way. We think there's white space for pizza. We think the Southeast is a strong market for us. We think the Southwest is a strong market for us. Texas, there's a restaurant every 10 feet. So, I don't think Texas is the right market for us. But if you look Southeast, Southwest, where there's a need for pizza, there's not, like if somebody's from Albuquerque, New Mexico, they don't fly to Albuquerque and go, I have to get off the plane and go here. We feel like And Pizza could fill that gap in these markets that don't have necessarily a pizza that people grew up craving and loving.
Well, And Pizza highlights its mission-driven, culture-focused approach. How might this unique identity appeal to potential franchisees?
I mean, look, I think if you want to kind of have that entrepreneurial spirit while having the guardrails of being a franchise, like we're the perfect fit. Like we allow you to be you. Obviously, you have to, the building has to look like an And Pizza. You have to sell the food we say you're going to sell, but like you're allowed to be yourself. So, I think that's an attractive quality of people, but we also want to grow in markets that like we want to give back to the community. So And Pizza with Michael was the first for the Fight for 15. He was in the front line of, minimum wage workers making more money. We do a ton of stuff with community involvement in and around DC, whether it's giving kids clothes and shoes and backpacks to go back to school, whether it's donating school supplies to different, underprivileged organizations, whether it's, feeding the hungry. And like we do a lot of things with underserved communities, and we would want our franchisees to do the same. So if you have a giving heart and a giving mindset, like we strongly encourage that to be part of the brand. It's part of our brand ethos. We'd want to be part of theirs as well. So for us, if you're not into giving back to the community and you're not into making your employees' lives better, you're probably not the right fit for us. So, we're very much into community involvement, sponsoring high schools, sponsoring teams. Like we talk about some of the things we do here, but we do it for the right reasons. We don't do it to like talk about it and get our name in the press. So if we talk about 10 things, there's probably 90 other things we've done behind the scenes that we haven't mentioned.
Now, you guys have done a recent tech stack overhaul, and you've got a new loyalty program. Tell me a little bit about those and why the need for those right now.
We had our own homegrown system, and I think the thought process was if we can get this to 200 restaurants on our own, we can build this really robust tech stack and then sell it to other restaurant concepts. I think that's what the plan was, years ago. It's hard to the main thing for us is selling pizza and serving the community and taking care of customers. So to focus a lot of time and effort and expense on building a tech stack of our own and having to run it. I think at one point we had like 17 people in the IT department. Like that just doesn't work. I need those people deployed into ops and marketing and training and that kind of stuff. Like we're a restaurant brand. We're not a tech brand. So for us, it was hard to take something that we've put so much time and effort in over the years and admit that like there's other groups that do this better than us. So we partnered with Toast, we partnered with Olo, and we partnered with Thanks as our loyalty and app provider. They all talk to each other. It's streamlined. It comes right out of the box. If we have a question, we call up Toast and they troubleshoot it for us. If something goes down with our app, we call up Thanks. They troubleshoot it for us. So I don't need a robust IT team now. And for us, for franchisees, like if I'm a franchisee, I want something that's going to work. So if I'm calling the franchisor, I want to be calling the franchisor about how do I make more money? I'm having issues with my dough. I want to develop this new site. I don't want to call the franchisee and say like, hey, my receipt printer is not working. How do I fix it? Like I need to be able to call the tech experts for that. So for everything we've done has been very deliberate to get a very cookie cutter out of the box ready concept that will allow for franchising.
What about your POS system? How important is that to operations?
It's super important. That was one of the reasons we switched to Toast is that we would need to be able to, we're very data forward. So we need to be able to see what the menu mix is for every restaurant. We want to see menu mix by day part. We want to see what shops are selling what, when, and where, because we want to be very strategic, but we're spending our marketing dollars, right? Mandy, if you had a shop and you call me up and say, hey, I'm down 5% in sales, help me. And I don't have access to your POS system. I don't know what you're selling. I don't know when you're selling it. I don't know what days are busy and slow.
Right.
This allows us to see where the gaps are and then tell you, hey, Mandy, we think you should spend 1% of sales here because this will drive traffic and this is where your gaps are. It also gives us, we partner with a company called Tattle as well that tells us what our guest metrics are. So now we can see, hey, I'm slow at lunch. There's high guest complaints. It's probably not just, I'm probably serving cold food and I'm not super friendly. So it gives us a much more data robust platform to help you strategically spend your money to fix sales.
Tell me about your out-of-the-box marketing. I know that marketing is important to you guys, but you guys do it a little differently. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
We try to be edgy. We try to stay involved in current events to some extent. We try not to play in any political field. We try to stay fairly neutral, but we try to kind of punch up. And we know that the world is ridiculous a lot of times, and we are too. And we want to make sure that we're comfortable in our own skin. And, we're not afraid to take risks. Sometimes we take them and they miss. But a lot of times we want the customer to feel like we're a fun brand. And pre-COVID, I say all the time that fast casual pizza is dead. And you're going to say like, you're insane. You're trying to sell these restaurants, your fast casual pizza. Like, what are you doing? But fast casual pizza in its pre-COVID form is dead. I mean, 70% of customers dined in, 30% were carry out and delivery. So everything was geared towards coming in, having a great experience inside the shop, whether the way the dough was designed, the way the boxes were set up, the way the restaurants looked, the way the music was played, like all that was designed for 75% of the customers to come in and experience it. Now the world shifted. Now it's 65 to 75% to go. So how do we give that and pizza experience to customers who aren't walking in there? And for us, it's through Instagram, TikTok, where they do pick up the food. We want it to be a fun, lively environment. Like the music's turned up extra loud. Like there's just different things. Our boxes are, brightly colored and designed differently than other places. So we try to make that fun experience to go. And we've got a few things that we're working up our sleeves that we're going to launch in the third quarter of this year that will really start to drive that as well.
You touched on this a little bit, but tell me about Anne's emphasis on a livable wage.
Yeah, I mean, it's different now. I mean, when everybody was paying $8 or $9, $10 an hour, we were paying 15 or 16. That's a significant jump. Now that minimum wage, some of the markets in DC are $18 an hour. I can't pay somebody 35, right? Like, so I think the market's kind of corrected itself. I think we still get a lot of credit for being on the forefront of that, but we still do a lot of things that other companies don't do. Like we give you a paid day off to go vote. If you firmly believe in a certain event, or you want to go protest for a day, we'll pay you. We'll give you a free day off to go do that. Like we want people to firmly, like we believe what we believe. We want our employees to believe whatever it is that they believe. We want them to stand behind that. And so we have very flexible holiday schedules. We do some other things that other companies don't do. I mean, I don't think a lot of places are giving employees the time off to go vote and pay you to go do it. We feel like if there's a protest or a rally and they want to go, like instead of having feel like they have to call out, like we will give you a paid day off to go do that. So, we want to make sure we still contribute to the social betterment of our community and our employees. and it's not necessarily a higher wage, although we still pay a little bit above market, but it's not significant like it was, you know, before everybody was paying $15 an hour.
Sure. Tell me a little bit about your pizza. Describe the dough. Tell me what your top sellers are.
So it's a very light dough. It's only 5 ingredients. There's no preservatives added to it. It's vegan. So it's very fresh. It's not super heavy. It's skateboard shaped, right? So it's a different way it looks. We cut it into little squares, so you get 8 squares out of a pie. Our top sellers are American Honey, which is it's a cup and curl pepperoni drizzled with Mike's Hot Honey.
Yeah.
We have all sorts of cool, pizzas. A Moonstruck, which has a balsamic fig glaze on it that customers love, with 3 different types of mushrooms and a fontina cheese. So we have a little bit, it's a create your own pizza concept, like every pizza place is across the world. But we really have 8 to 12, depending on what market you're in, like customer facing pies that 50% of our mix is order off the menu, which is unheard of in the pizza business. So
yeah.
We think our chef has done a great job of curating this menu. Customers seem to like it. And because it's a light dough, we want to make sure that they're not over topping it, because we want it to cook and be crisp and hot and fresh when it comes out of the oven, and not be this, pizza casserole, because they can just load it up.
Now you guys have a not big pizza stance. Is that correct? Tell me a little about that and how it resonates with customers and franchisees in different markets.
We will never be able to play into the Domino's, Pizza Hut, Papa John's world. We can't. They can just flip something on TV, sell 3 pies for $5 a piece. Sales go crazy. Franchisees' profitability goes down, but more customers are coming in the door. That's their whole model, right? Our ingredients are fresher, our dough's fresher. We feel like it's a more unique experience. It's an individual pie versus a shareable pie. But for us, we can kind of do things like the big pizza players can't do. Like if we want to say something on social media, it's not like we've got some, $400 billion investor standing behind us going, you can't say this, you can't do that. Like our Super Bowl is 420. Like that is our Super Bowl. Like and we're not afraid to talk about that. Like we believe in, again, sticking up for the different, communities around the country. Like we are heavily involved in Pride, and World Pride this year is in DC, which plays right into our backyard. So we'll be heavily involved in that. So we want to be able to do what we want to do, where I think some of those other guys just can't do it. Like we gave out rolling papers last year on 420 to any customer with our logo on it. And
that's awesome.
On Pizza Hut probably wants to do that. They can't. So we can do things like that.
Now, going back to franchising, what potential challenges could you face as you scale while trying to maintain that unique brand identity and quality?
I mean, the biggest thing for us, I was worried about, was supply chain, but we have a national broadline distributor, Performance Food Group, that we signed just before I got here. So that kind of eased we had a local distributor before that, which is part of the reason we couldn't franchise. You're stuck kind of in this mid-Atlantic region. So now we have a broadliner that can get our food anywhere they need to get it. We've got a really strong supply chain team that helps us. So the food has to be good. Like that's step number one, right? So we've solved that problem. We can get the right food to the right places, but we also be very selective on who we choose as the franchisee. Like we could choose the wrong franchisee and then it goes completely sideways. But that's why we're very deliberate in this process. Like it's a very strong vetting process from a cultural standpoint. Like it's not, you might have the greatest balance sheet in the world, but if you're not willing to do certain things or give back to the community or participate in certain events, like we don't want you. So like it has to be a fit from a cultural standpoint. That's why we like markets like Las Vegas. It would be great for us. People go to Las Vegas and be whoever they want to be for 3 or 4 days. We think Vegas is a strong market for us for those exact same reasons. So, we're going to go where we think where we can be successful. I'm not going to promise we're not going to make any mistakes, but we're going to really try hard not to.
Now, part of what you want to do is inject energy back into the brand. What specific changes or strategies do you anticipate seeing under that franchise model?
I think the franchisees, when they sign up for a franchise agreement, they're agreeing to follow the company guidelines and standards. So I think as long as we stay true to who we are, and do things the way we say that we're going to do them and hold them accountable. We also have franchise business consultants that we're going to bring on as we start to expand and franchise.
Okay.
That aren't going to be typical franchise consultant will go in and say, hey, you got dust in the corner, your POP on your window's wrong, and your sidewalk's dirty. Like, I don't want that. Like, obviously that's part of like business. I want people that can sit down with the franchisee and help them with their P&L. Hey, my food cost is high. Like, help me fix it. Like, I want business minded people that can go in to help the franchisees make money, because that's the fastest way we're going to grow. I also want people that are going to go in and help the franchisees figure out what's in their community that they can rely on. Like, is there a high school or a college or a little league team I can sponsor? If there's like some social event going on, like, how do I get my feet in the door? Like, that's the stuff we want to focus on, not just dust in the corner and my, windows are dirty.
Now, I guess my final question is, if you had a piece of advice for a potential franchisee who's looking into a pizza brand and they're considering And Pizza, what would you tell them?
I would say if you just want your normal, everyday mom and pop pizza place where I can come in every day and flip the light switch on and sell pizza, like, we're not the place for you. If I want to come in every day and have fun and give back to my community and make my employees' lives better and serve really high quality ingredients and have like a good time while doing it, we're the right place. Our cost to build, we feel like, is lower than most places. We feel like our food cost and labor line is sub 57% across the system, is lower than most places. So we feel like this is a very profitable environment and fun. Like, we're attracting a lot of people that are interested in coffee shops and cookie places because we're very simple. Like, we're super easy. Like, we come in, we shred vegetables and, core pineapple, and we're ready to go. I mean, we serve pizza. Like, we don't sell buffalo wings or pasta. Like, I sell dough. And so it's easy to operate. It's really fun. And, we want people that, again, I keep saying it, we want them to be able to give back to the community because we feel like it bounces back to you. And that's kind of the platform we stand on. So if you're about that, we want you. If you're not, like, somebody else will take it.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. This has been awesome.
Thank you, Mandy. I really appreciated it.
That'll do it for this episode of the Pizza Marketplace podcast, and we'll catch you next time.